Okay, welcome everybody to episode 2 of Do You Know the GWEI? This is Spiders coming at you 3 days later after the first episode here. Just going to dive straight into some news. FTX and Alameda addresses roughly 80 million in crypto. And here's the thing that I just want you guys to realize is that we're getting so much on-chain movement, regardless of whether it's the fact that they're selling, buying, transitioning over to wallets. This inflow of liquidity is what you want to start seeing months before the halving on Bitcoin and various cofactors like that. These are the kinds of things, guys, that you want to see. Like, honestly, increased liquidity on all markets. Moving these old wallets that haven't been touched in like over 3.5, 4 years. Again, it doesn't matter whether or not they're moving the stuff they're selling or buying. It's just increasing liquidity pools across the spectrum. This is probably one of my favorite articles of the past few days. If you guys haven't taken a look, CC data came out and it is discussing the AUM, the digital assets. And the chart that I want to just bring everybody's attention to is the fact that Solana and Atom are aggregating nearly 70, 80, Solana 74% increase aggregate and Cosmos Atom 58% aggregate. Pull up these two projects next to each other and try to find the holes within their fundamentals. And I just can't really do it, honestly. You can find them within Solana. I'm not going to deny that. But within Cosmos, you're seeing, again, this AUM aggregated asset increasing. And this is data off of Grayscale's account below here. But again, I think that this was one of the more interesting articles. People were trying to piece some of the puzzle together. So here we are 3 days later, and we did exactly what I had said that we would probably do. We're going to rip the fucking IV of any margin trader that's up here. I said that when we were at 3386 Bitcoin 3 days ago. We've been just playing this sideways game, rip and running off of this ascending support line. This red one here, if you guys can kind of see it. And we've been ranging across the 4-hour MA while maintaining the daily MA, which is still all the way fucking down here at 30K. And we see the horizontal resistance line that it broke on this gigantic candle. Ton of volume. Again, guys, data structures that present volume profiles this big at these levels, you have to start understanding, even if we come back down to these levels, what you want to see is how they're respected. This is a very, very real data structure. If we ever do come back to this level, have to consider actually setting your stop loss and then finding the top of the wick of this candle and setting it as such. It gave you that opportunity here, guys. I'm going to pull open the Ethereum chart. We were just looking at Bitcoin. What did they do for Ethereum? Weekly MA is 1747. I brought this up in the first video. I was like, I could totally see the realistic approach where 1747 on the dot gets pulled down, and then they start running it after there. As long as 1747 is maintained, I feel confident. Look at what they did. They gashed it in the night at like 3 a.m. And they hit it literally on the cent. So there it is, 1746, 1745. Didn't even get to 45, got to 746. So we literally kissed the weekly MA on Ethereum. And now we are doing this hourly rip and run, this ascending angle here. We have a descending, very, very weak resistance line that just kind of showed over the past few hours. But as per the technicals that are kind of showing to us, guys, it makes a lot of sense. Anyone who went long, anyone who went short within this range over, like, let's not look at the 23rd on, 28th on, just look at the 27th. You opened your position on the 25th or the 26th, woke up on the 26th or the 27th that day with your position getting IV drugged down the hell. And some of them would have been stop lossed out at 328. So from a trading perspective, you have to look at the indicators across all channels and both markets, not just Bitcoin, not just Ethereum, because they're going to have different indicators. The support level was found on both markets at the Ethereum weekly. We haven't even come fucking close to the BTC weekly, right? At 28.3. Fact of the matter is, we found acceptance for support at that weekly level for Ethereum. So we still have this really ugly descending angle that I said, could possibly be a triple top scenario that they sell it off to. It did come up to this 1900 level and then decide to sell off. I would definitely see 1771 horizontal channel here that I've drawn in, right? Let's harken back to the 3 channel, 1, 2, 3 channel horizontal pocket that we're ranging between here that I showed you guys in the previous video. So these levels, once we actually get above them, when we come back down, if we come back down, are going to be used as support. But we do have very immediate resistance at that 1900 level for Ethereum. Currently have the 1 hour, 2 hour, and the 4 hour riding underneath price with Bollinger Band contraction moving upwards, expanding upwards. And we can kind of look at this, right, guys? Finding a position when this band is already expanded and not contracted, it's going to waver in price. It's going to go sideways for a little bit. It's going to find support at these lower band levels. It's going to range between the moving average, and then it's going to find a direction that it's going to want to go after it contracts. Get within your position, get within your investments when that contraction is going on before you start seeing those directions and moves. Because, guys, it is really that simple. If this expansion was going to the opposite way, you have to set stop losses depending on these bands, right? You have to set your capitulation points for your investments at various parts of these bands. And so with all of these technical MAs being respected, dragging the price sideways like I thought they were going to do, this is totally in turn with a bullish move, in my opinion. Not financial advice, do your own research, but I personally am in a long right now. Very, very small position because I do not margin trade very high. I'm more of an investor. But I definitely found that hourly MA as a position piece. So 1781 down here at 7 this morning, I went in. Why did I go in? Well, because we found the support at this 47 point on the weekly. I told myself as long as we held that weekly MA, this was worth it. I was taking a $30 loss on a contract. I went in at 70, right? $30 loss, it's 47. So it was really that simple for me. That's the thing, right? If we think Ethereum is looking good right now, then Bitcoin is looking healthier. So we have ascending Phoenix energy right now, and we're getting this like fork. You guys see this kind of forking? You got this 1, 2, 3 line movement here that's gonna move this gray energy, and continue. See continuation. As long as see increased price on an hourly basis, you're gonna see continuation of this gray energy. Definitely take our moves up and look at our B bands as resistance points. 34695 first resistance. We have the horizontal resistance line at 348. And we have ultimately the higher purple at 35. And so those are levels that I would personally be watching if I was in any sort of in trade position. My position is purely one to ride it out because it is so small. And I went in at a good value that I felt like I could hold the weekly MA. So things are they're still looking good, guys. We're having increased liquidity that's flowing into addresses. So these are the things that you want to be seeing here. We're going to look at Solana and then Atom. Why are we going to bring these two up? We're going to bring these two up because they are highlighted on at aggregate data, right? They were highlighted as being winners in that aggregate data. And so you're going to say to yourself when you're looking at any name, what is fair value versus healthy price? You have to balance how good a name actually looks versus its health. And as far as studies go between price and health, can't think of a better one right now with Atom versus Solana. Though both of them are above the daily MA, you've only had a 17% increase on Atom, whereas we've had a 72% increase on Solana. And so, as I was talking about how the names between DOT and Link, right, both fundamental and tech darlings, in my opinion, completely different as far as price value and market health. And I would say when you compare these two names, you both have strong market health and you have a decoupling of price value. I'm not saying it's not a good buy, that Solana is not a good buy, especially if we come down to like this 4-hour MA, buy it and you set that stop loss, all that shit. Like that's in my opinion, a fantastic move, right? Financial advice there. But it's just the idea of, again, when you're comparing these names and you're looking at them, there's a lot of price value here. If we can actually get legs on a Bitcoin bull run that hasn't actually found that 70% move yet. So guys, I'm telling you, the names are out there. I said this last 3 days ago when we were talking about DOT. These names are out there where they are coming back down to their ICO level prices and or finding support at previous resistance level. Right? Historically, resistance 2019 is where we're finding support right now on the Atom. And we're seeing usage within its ecosystem. And we're seeing increased revenue pools. See, that looks fucking really good. Got to be kind of scared about this right here that we just absolutely hugged through. But I cannot tell you enough, guys, how ascending trends and resistances, supports are Very, very important for you guys to watch, but they shouldn't be respected as much as horizontal channels. And what you want to try to do is get those confluence pockets where you get multiple indicators, multiple channels that are intersecting with each other. I'm going to go back to the Ethereum chart here. We had a 4 technical indicator pocket here, guys. We had the weekly kiss. We had the 4-hour MA rejection, a 4-hour MA come up, and finding that come up past the horizontal channel. And so it was, again, where is my long? My long is at 1781. So it's just the idea, 1778. It's just the idea that you can give yourself the tools to not necessarily forecast what's going to happen next, but give yourself these tools so that if price does go past one way or another, give yourself a percentage of confidence on your next move. So I just drew this horizontal resistance line right here, Adam. So I can definitely see the 730 level being respected as resistance as you see it on the daily here. One thing that I will say is different, right, about Atom versus, say, Link or Solana is that you're seeing different data structures support. This is much less viable in your Links and Solana. So that's the only thing that I would say about trying to compare the two. Volume profiles don't give me as much confidence as much as the fact that their fundamentals do, their current price value. So one thing that I kind of wanted to bring to attention at the end of this video here, we got through 4 names: BCE, Atom, and Solana. We saw the health of all of them. But go back to Solana just real quick here so I can highlight something. We broke this descending angle, this descending wedge here, and we just gunned it off of daily MA. This thing is a monster. I can't deny it. But as long as we hold that daily MA, then I feel like that we're good. I'm back it out to the daily here to see if we can't draw horizontal channel. No, I mean we crushed that one, right? Look at this horizontal channel that we currently struggling with this one now. So I'd like to see how we range between this next few days. Again, guys, don't be expecting major moves when we have speed bands expanded like this across the markets, right? We're actually coming to a contraction point on the 4-hour, but it's not that contraction on the daily yet. We still have an incredibly high expansion level on our B bands. What we want to see is if we do start coming down to the daily 1655 Ethereum, we don't want to see increased sell volume, right? Increased red sell volume. We don't want to see that. We want to see it tagging this horizontal support at 1784, possibly finding that low again at the weekly at 1740, and then getting some more buy volume that comes in. We want to be adding to these data structures that we're seeing. And so if we continue to add to these data structures, very specifically respecting these levels, if we do come down to them, is going to be a very key thing to watch. I'm going to be making a video in a couple of days here regards to staking strategies, as well as how to um, how to take certain percentages off of your portfolio in bull runs, blow off top scenarios, and all that kind of stuff. What staking really allows you to do when we come up to those levels in those areas, I think it's very important for people to get those strategies out before the bull run actually happens, so that when it does happen, you're there and ready with a plan in mind. I'm having a really good time making these videos, guys, and so I definitely want this to be based on a community thing. Like, share, leave a comment, get the community going on Twitter. Be trying to speak on spaces where we're actually focused on any sort of market topics. And so, see you guys out there in the next one. Stay safe in these markets, and let's make some money, guys.